about to tell you is tragedy in the first degree. We were given this amazing donation of an Apex UV printer. A UV printer is, it's called a large format UV printer. It can produce posters that are 2 feet by 3 feet. And we thought, as a museum, having the ability to do such large format printing, to make giant posters like this, would be really valuable for being able to make signs, being able to make presentations, and just being able to do some poster board work. This amazing printer is probably about a $9,000 donation. But when we got it from Gary, he admitted that it had been sitting for some time already. We figured we would be able to kind of change out the parts and clean up the things and get it to be operational again. So we went through a very long process of diagnosing what was going on. This is a printer that is designed to be used in a factory. It's the kind of factory equipment that is supposed to be used every single day, all day long, constantly. And when it's not used, all kinds of things go wrong. Many things will go wrong. So when we started the diagnostics to figure out what was going on, the first thing we did was we looked at the ink, because when ink is sitting around, it will go bad, and it will just kind of gum up and clog things, and that's to be expected. So we took the lines, we took all of the ink that was in there out, cleaned out all of the tubes, replaced all of what these are called dampers. Dampers are where the ink comes out at the end of the line. But we replaced the lines themselves. We said, we just got to replace everything. So that anywhere there was ink, all of that tubing, we just got to get new. You can see that I'm drawing ink through the damper, and it is flowing. It is flowing pretty normally, actually, here. This is not where the clog was. After replacing the dampers and replacing the lines, this area was fine. Now, take a look underneath. Video underneath. Can you see the drips coming out the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to keep squeezing until they run clear. Now they're starting to run clear. Okay. I'm going to switch to the cleaning fluid. Keep filming. Now I'm running the cleaning fluid in. They're nice and clear. The drips are coming out. There's no spray. Well, there's a little bit of a spray. Oh, I see a spray. A little bit of a spray. Now I'm going to switch back to the alcohol. Run it again. A little bit of a spray coming out, but it's mostly just running clear now. All right. The spray is through the print head itself. These are Epson print heads, and they must run totally clear. Quick test.
I clicked.
Good.
Oh, everything changed colors. Oh, let me see. Look on the phone. What is it doing with the UV light? Nothing.
The UV light cures the ink as it goes by, so you have to wear these really beautiful glasses or have a shield up to protect you and everybody else in the room. Another thing we had to replace was the calibration laser. We also spent a lot of time calibrating the software to make sure that wasn't the problem. But no, the issue really was in these print heads, these Epson DX5 print heads. On the face of it, you can't really see the lines that are where the ink comes out. This mirror finish has such small apertures. That's what makes the ink come out. That's the nozzle for the ink. We started to do some more diagnostics. We spent a lot of time calling the company. We even asked Epson if they would donate or grant us 2 of these print heads. They're about $5,000 each. And again, they're very common. They're wide format print heads, standard stuff. Since I couldn't get replacements and they were so expensive, I took apart the ones I had. What I discovered is the glue traces had failed. As the ink was coming out of these channels, not only was it clogged, because it was clogged from sitting for so long, but the ink the pressure on the ink had now blown all of the glue that is holding the ink in the channel it's supposed to be in. So the printheads themselves were completely compromised. And after watching some very sketchy videos about people that tried to do rehabilitation on these using a microscope and applying the glue in just the right place, we tried it. It didn't work. And we realized these printheads are just done. You might be asking, why are there two? Why not just get one of them? Well, the answer is also that you're not always printing on white paper. Sometimes you're printing on glass or metal, and so you need to lay down the white. So one of the printheads is white only. This giant machine, and with all of its fancy equipment and the UV light and everything that goes on with it, it's a wonderful piece of technology, and it was really difficult to make the decision that we just weren't going to be able to use it. In fact, this is really the best that we ever got out of it. You can see that we never even really got the white to lay down. We talked to the manufacturer of this printer in China, and they were very, happy to sell us $4,000 worth of printheads, but short of that, there was nothing they could do. So in the very end, we had to make the decision that the printer was simply not going to get fixed, and $4,000 was not a sum of money we were going to be able to invest into making posters. So we took a screwdriver to it, and with a heavy heart, we pulled the whole thing apart. So it is now in bits and pieces, and it is really interesting. All these pieces and parts and motors and gears and everything that makes up a printer like this, it's fascinating. We'll definitely be using all these parts in other locations, in other projects. We're definitely going to keep our hands on this UV light because it was very well made, and it's a wonderful piece of technology. If we find some source or some reason that we need to have some UV light, we sure will be happy to have this. But in the meantime, our poor UV printer is all taken apart on the workbench. We were very sad to see it go. In the meantime, we're still going back to the poster shop and making posters the old-fashioned way. But that's the saga of the UV printer. If you've ever cleaned an Epson printer head like this, tell us about it. We'd love to hear your stories. Mahalo. Aloha. Shak.